Stand by. I'm going to call to order the meeting of the best Rotary Club in the. And before I get started here, I mean, we had the last night's guest of honor showing up as soon as I rang the bell. I don't know how she does this, but we are going to go have our invocation. Who's invocating? Mike, are you invocating?
No, Louis. Go ahead. I'm going to do it.
Ooh.
Okay. Now this is a little lengthy, but it's pretty good. So listen carefully. The Lord will never leave us nor forsake us. He promised he'd be with us through it all. It often seems he's walking right beside us as he guides us through our problems, large and small. But there are times we just can't feel his presence. When the road's so rough, we need him all the more. We wonder why we're so alone and helpless, why his hand's not there to lead us as before. But if we listen quietly, he'll tell us, take a moment and remember what I said. If you fail to see me walking right past you, it's because I have you in my arms instead. For together we will cross the highest mountain. Together we will face the stormy sea. You never are alone. You're never helpless. I'll carry you, let go, and lean on me. Amen.
All right, thank you, Louis. And a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And then the four-way test. And Cody, we're going to be reciting that right over there. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And do we have a song today?
Louis, got a song? Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back. Oh, root for the Mariners. They don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
All right, thank you.
We have any guests here?
All right. Do we have any visiting Rotarians? Charlie, did you have any visiting Rotarians at your table or? Oh, yeah.
Police Chief Dan McElwraith has returned.
Yeah. He expected to be abused a little bit today, so. And do we have any guests of Rotarians other than our speaker? No guests? All right. And moving on to club business. Mark, did you want to get up and say a little bit about Paul Harris right off the bat?
Just a reminder, the Paul Harris nominations are still open until April 9th, I believe. In a couple of weeks, it'll close. And if you don't know who you want to nominate, think of somebody that in our community or in our club that does service above self that needs we could consider it as someone for recognition. So let us know. There's committee members around, Charlie and Teak and Becky and Mike Mosier and David Bricka and myself. So thank you.
All right. Moving on, our next item is be doing a quick stocking of the food pantry down at the high school. And let's see, monthly teams should be preparing their live auction items, fine tuning them, making sure Ruth has got all the information. We're still needing silent auction items. I've got several on my table here that I got to drop off today. And we want to get those down there so Sherry can get them entered into the log. We have our next 2 or 3 weeks coming up. Next week is going to be, Travis is going to be talking a little bit about future plans. I'm going to be out of town. Our May 7th work party will be meeting at 4 o'clock to deliver stuff and do the bar setup. May 8th is a setup, all hands on deck. Coming up May 16th, we're doing another Rotary International Epic Day of Service. They're going to be doing a cleanup at YMC Camp Anderson. Local area clubs are teaming up to tackle blackberries, unload mulch, replace beach sand, and work on some trails. And hopefully it'll be a wee bit drier than it was last year. Those of you that went to the Epic Day of Service last year out at the Helping Hands Food Bank, it was like standing under a fire hose for the better part of the day. Wanted to thank Josh. Thank you for getting us lunch today. Wonderful change of scenery. Great food. I don't know anybody can pass up a little bit of Cascade pizza. Next week, we're going to need a dedicated setup crew. Rick is out of town next week, and we need to get a crew in here to help set up. He's got his helpers are going to be taking care of it, right? You've got your
the other regulars will be
the other regulars. Yeah, I'm going to be out of town, and Rick's going to be out of town, so we'll need a little bit of helps. And Team April is going to be up next week. Team April is the other Eric Johnson, Chuck Rule, Chris Schaffner, John Janicki, Ken Van Loo, Rick Tezerick, and Bruce Berglund. So there's only 2 or 3 of them that we are going to see showing up. And I think Ruth's already brought this up a time or two that we're kind of short on Team April. So anybody that can show up a little bit early, 11 o'clock-ish, 11:15, help set up, they'd sure appreciate the help. And is there anything else from the floor? Nothing else from the floor. Excellent. We have a raffle.
We do have a raffle. The chances of winning money are the same today as they were last time.
Sure.
So has everyone bought a ticket that wanted to buy a ticket? We're trying to raise money. Okay, let's go. $40. There you go. Wise man. There's a wise man. 21. Yep, we got some smart people here, I'm telling you. $65. How much money did we bring in? Okay, so because we got one more, the person either has to take the wine or spin. So that's the 66. All right. Yeah, it didn't take long to, what am I doing? You can do whatever you want. I see, there it is. Okay. All right. Am I up?
You're up.
Okay, so, we learned about rock at the beginning of the month, and the most famous part of being in the state of Washington David, this is a trick question, but you might know it. This doesn't even count on the money. All right. What is the state of Washington's slogan?
Tax them till they drop. Is that-
Evergreen State.
Ah.
Well, I'm just telling you, that's why I didn't use it for a question. Okay, we're going to start at this table because this is $2 if you're wrong, $1 if you're right. Okay, because it's going to be painful today. So here it is. What is unique about trees that grow at the equator?
Straight up.
Those are all good answers, but there's something unique about it. And if you've ever seen wood from Africa that grows on the equator, it's got something different about it that on the north or south of the equator, something else happens to the tree. It's $2 for this table. All right. And I'm going to tell you, trees at the equator don't have rings. So that's why you get those big. Most of the questions I asked today, nobody's going to know the answer. All right. Okay. I'm going to let Louis help and give you the question here. And this is a real simple one, Louis. Whichever one you want. Okay. It's $2 if you are wrong, $1 if you're right.
Okay, what is the common species name of Pseudotsuga menziesii?
I mean, there's got to be someone that knows Italian. Aren't you Italian? No, see? I know, I'm just giving
It's
you a hard
Latin.
time.
Latin, yes, scientific name.
No, you were close though. It's Doug fir.
Douglas fir.
Okay.
Doug-
Pseudo
Well,
means
we should tell-
false. Go ahead.
We should tell them that Pseudotsuga, it means false fir. Douglas fir is a false fir. So
Okay. And
That's
so
good.
Brock, this one doesn't count, but why is Douglas fir called Douglas? Oh my goodness. Where were you in 8th grade in history class when Cook was, going up the coast of Washington and Oregon, and the guy in the boat with him who wrote down all the species was named Douglas, and he saw this fir tree, which wasn't a fir tree. So the joke is they named the false fir tree after Douglas, and I think his first name was Steve. Is that right? Anyhow, that's not the question. Louis has a question for you. Okay, Louis, go ahead.
Oh, this is an easy one. Everybody has seen this tree all over Pacific Northwest. It's Ulmus rubra. What's the common name?
Oh, you are so close, but you're not right. It's red alder, but you did get almost there. So it's red alder. So that's $2. This has been a great so far. Okay, so this question is for, sorry that you two are sitting at this table, but this is for all these old guys, okay? So, and Teak might know this. What is the definition of an ancient forest?
What?
Old growth.
That's close. It is old growth, but it's ancient. So what is it? If you looked up really old growth. So what's common about it?
First growth, it hasn't been cut.
So those are all true, but that's not the answer I'm looking for. Okay. You guys give up? This easy, we give up? All right, $2. And I'll tell you what it is. An ancient forest is neither growing or dying. 50% of the volume is alive and 50% of the volume is dead. So an ancient forest is in equilibrium. There you go. So yeah.
I got one more then.
Oh, wait, this is for the whole group. Louis has one more. Oh, wait. Oh, okay, this is for my table. Okay, I have to answer this one. Go ahead, Louis.
Okay. Now, we've heard the name mentioned already as a common name, but what is Thulia placata? You got it.
Yeah.
Western Red Sea.
And it was.
Thulia placata, Mark.
I'll put $5 in for the pain and suffering I gave everyone else. It's someone else's job to extract money next month. But we got 5 months or 5 weeks. I think we did really well. And thank you. And I love this job, but you know, people don't love me doing it. No.
I'm going to cough up $5.
Oh, wait, happy bucks too.
Uh-oh.
Louis?
Yeah, we'll do that next. I'm going to cough up $5 because apparently I'm the only one in this whole room that took a class on dendrology.
What's amazing is he still has the book.
Okay.
I moved so
$5,
many
Mike.
times with all those children that the first thing I got rid of were all the books. Happy bucks right here.
I have 2 $5 bills, so I'm happy twice. So the first one is the Spaceball season, right? As of today, official opening day today. I think there's a game last night, and it's baseball weather. I see finally. So my favorite time of year, the greatest sport, baseball. And then my second, President Tucker already mentioned Cascade Pizza, but support your local business. They gave us a great deal on this food. John, the owner, is a great friend of Rotary and a great friend of these sports. His dad, Nick, opened the door for me when I got there, the original owner, Nick. So please support Cascade Pizza, great business, great people.
I've got big happy bucks. In case you guys missed it, I've been gone, but I'm back now. I was in East Africa. Part of this is grateful bucks because the Rotary clubs on the East Coast helped us put water at our school. So I'm really happy for that. And the rest of the bucks are for missed meetings.
Somewhere. Okay. Now, I just happened to be, in a pharmacy. We won't name the pharmacy, but it's Chris Schaffner's. And Brock comes in and he's like white as a ghost. I didn't say anything at the time because, I didn't know if he had something wrong with him or not. And I was, trying to be polite. But Brock, and I know we're not supposed to talk about HIPAA stuff, right? Because, you shouldn't know this stuff about people. But Brock, do you want to say anything about how your last week went, or do you just want to give me some money and not say anything?
Well, I'm gonna tell everybody exactly what happened, and you were buying more medication than I was. So anyway, so yeah, 2 weeks ago I started with having symptoms of a kidney stone again. I've had them before, so this one went on, and I think I ended up trying to go in and fill a prescription that the walk-in clinic had given me, and of course that didn't really help out too much because it didn't pass on its own. So last Thursday and Friday, I was over at the emergency room at Skagit, and they were able to do the CT scan, find where the stone was. It was too big to pass on its own, so they did a little procedure to take care of it, and I'm back, so I'm good. And you're still buying the medications.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, you're right. So I'm going to pay $50 because for Brock, and the only reason I'm paying this is because we need the money. But really, Brock, other than I'm not going to make I'm not going to finish that comment. but Brock and I have been friends for a long time, and I've always given Brock a hard time. And today, I understand kidney stones as much as Brock does, and nobody should have to go through what he did. And so my $50 is that he's standing and he looks good.
I have a buck. I went in 2 days ago for a cardio version where they zap you, and I had a strange rhythm in my heart. And the first thing the doctor said when I woke up was, well, it worked. And so everything's fine.
Mike, I've got a happy 100 here. As you all probably already know, this is my wife's last week as mayor, and I'm getting her back. And I don't know if what else could be happier.
Yeah.
Well, I had something, but I can't beat that. So here's $10.
Yeah. Oh, we've got one more in the corner here.
Thank you. I have a happy 5. This weekend is going to be our grand opening for the military exhibit at the museum. So I invite all of you. We are opening up right after the Vietnam parade, which will be downtown at 11 o'clock. So everyone come out for that.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you have not been to the museum, you need to go to the museum.
I've got $10, and the museum is great. I know my late father is featured with some of his artifacts from the museum, and it's really special to me and my family for that. But I want to note Mayor Johnson. Yesterday we had the kids from Children of the Valley at Country Meadow Village at the time of your event, and I would have been there had I not been out there playing bingo with the kids. I've had a great relationship over the years in a Country Meadow Village. Julia has always been at our service, coming out and spending time with our residents. And it's just been a joyous time having you there. Everyone is so grateful for the time that you have done. And I'm going to give you a call because I have one more opportunity for you. And it'll be our swan song because it'll be my last Memorial Day commemoration ceremony. So we'll talk, but it's just always a delight working with you. And we've done it for a long time during high school. So I know what you're doing, dude.
Anybody else? Well, I think we ought to give our retired mayor a standing ovation for all the work she's done.
And before we quit the happy bucks, I got a happy 50. Congratulations, Eric and Julia, for getting your life back. And for those that, if you didn't get to go to Julia's thing last night, her reception before City Council, the kind of things that happen in Sedro Woolley, the kind of things that we experience, they don't happen in a vacuum. Those things are made happen by a lot of good people. We've got city council folks, we've got mayors, we got a senator here, we got Dan, who took a chance to show up today. But there's been a lot of good people doing a lot of good things. And a long time ago, Aaron Berg said to me, the things that he wanted to do in the city of Sedro Woolley is that we want to make Sedro Woolley the kind of place that people come in and say, this is just a really nice town. This is a really nice place to be. I like to live here. I like to have my business here. I like to visit here, whatever the case may be. And that was one of the things that stuck with me over the years. And what I've seen is just good people stepping up to the plate and doing right things. Thank you, Julia. You were a good boss, and hope you have a good time escaping from that role. Yeah. All right, we're going to move into our program. If you're an early leaver, drop off a couple bucks at the front desk and make sure. I know a couple of people have come up and talked to Cody. So I asked Ruth if she wanted to introduce this, and she says, no, you can do that. That's fine. Okay, fine. So we have Cody Hamlin here doing a thing on equine bodywork, a growing profession. And actually, there was only one weird comment before that when I said this is a program on equine massage, and they said, where can I get in on that? I don't know if they wanted to be massaged or if they want a massage. I don't know what the case may be. I had no answers for them. But Cody, you ready? You're up.
Oh, perfect. I think I will. Can everyone hear me? Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for having me today. I'm excited to share something with you that has become near and dear to my heart and a labor of love with my profession. And there are some familiar faces here that it's been a long time since I have seen you all, and I've worn a couple different hats since I think we first met back, dare I say 20 years ago. But I'll talk about that more in a moment. You just push the button, right? Yeah. No. Okay, thanks. So in our time together, I'll just briefly talk about my business and the work that I do with horses, Lined Equine Bodywork. I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, I mean, it is what it sounds like, but what is it exactly and how did it even become a thing? And why would we do this for horses? And then Washington State is very unique with this profession. So we'll touch on all of that. But first I'll start talking about how I got into this. If you'd have told the little kid of me that this is what I would be doing full-time for work, I would have been super excited and I probably wouldn't have believed it. And then if you told me in my 20s when I was working with you, Ruth, at the Courier Times, I'd have been like, you're nuts. That's not even a thing. But here I am. So when I was a kid, it's not too off base that this is what I'm doing. When I was a kid, I was that stereotypical little girl where if it had nothing to do with horses, I wanted nothing to do with it. So I was the horse crazy kid. I showed horses, had horses up until my 20s. And then when I had to do that thing called adulting, moved away, went to school, tried to figure out what I'm doing. I started my career here in Sedro Woolley with Ruth. Thanks, Ruth. In the Courier Times. So I did that up until about 2009. And then I switched gears and put on another hat for 10 years with working with North Cascades Institute and the nonprofit sector and school programs. And at that time, if you had asked me, I would have sworn that that is where I would have retired. I love that work and I love the work I did with that organization. But in my late 20s, I thought, I think I can get a horse. I think it's an easy thing. It was fun as a kid. So in my late 20s, I got my first horse as an adult and kind of got like a crash course of horse ownership and caregiving because a lot has changed since the 90s when I was doing horses. And I was getting body work done for myself to address some physical stuff. And I was having some issues with my horse at the time. And so my trainer suggested, you might want to have a body worker come out and work with your horse. And so there weren't many at that time. This is in like 2014, 2015. So I had a couple people come out, work with my horse. I saw the benefits for myself and my own practitioner, and then was seeing the results with my horse. So just kind of have this thought of like, do you go to school for that? Like, how do you do this? And I was just curious. So I did a Google search. Long story short, in 2017, I'm signing up to do this. And at the time, it wasn't to make a career. It was more of just this itch I had to scratch. I was really curious about it. And I thought, well, I'll just help my horse. It'll be like a hobby. So I completed school. So I went down to in Southwest Washington, there's a school called Equine Natural Movement School. It's a year-long program. And so I completed that within a year. So fall 2018, I completed that. I'll talk a little bit more about the formal professional process to do this. But so I went through those paces. I sat for my national board exam. I passed, which is my ticket to get my license with the Department of Health in Washington State. And then in January of 2019, I opened my business. Mind you, this was again a hobby. I had my day job, but I wanted to be formal and, you know, go through the paces, all of that. But then this thing called 2020 happened. We've all heard of it. And so in 2020, my day job with NCI turned into my side job. And then later in 2020, my side job became my day job ultimately, because those of us who had horses, that was kind of the thing we could do that year. So towards the end of the year, I started getting an uptick in business and just kept following that. And then it grew so much that to the end of 2020, I was like, you know, I just have this feeling that if I just jump into this full throttle, something will come of it. So I took that leap in 2021. I've been working full time since 2021 doing this. And so since I've grown my business, I go all the way up, you know where Point Roberts is? So once a month, I go all the way up to Point Roberts. That's as far north as I go, all the way far as south to the greater Tacoma, out to Gig Harbor area, and everywhere in between. So I'm on the road a lot, up and down I-5, up and down Highway 20. And another piece of this job is continuing education. So a lot of us who get into this, we're lifelong learners, and it's that with horses, and I'm sure all things that we're passionate about, it's like the more you know, you're like, I know nothing. So we keep pursuing education, and that is part of our credentialing is continuing education. So I've since continued through several programs and have added additional services and skill sets to my work, and then attending lots of different workshops on lots of different topics. So for example, last weekend, there was a veterinarian in Monroe who was hosting a workshop on this is how nerdy we get, like just on the pelvis of the horse. And so there's myself, saddle fitters, some other vets, and we're all working and collaborating together, learning about the anatomy and physiology and pathologies of just the pelvis and how we can better support the horse in that area. So we really get in the weeds. And then in 2022, my teachers at the school that I attended, Equine Natural Movement School, invited me to be part of the faculty. And so I joined with that. And so I go down to Battleground a week at a time, several times throughout the year, teaching and supporting other up and coming folks who are working to be equine body workers as well and get their credentials. And then just this year, I decided to basically everything I'm going to talk about today for horses, also this all translates to dogs, if you can believe that. So just this year, I decided to pursue my credentialing and go through those paces to add dogs to my program. So that will hopefully be a thing in 2027. Stay tuned. So that's just me in a nutshell, and this is kind of getting into the greater profession as a whole. So this is just to kind of clarify. A lot of times, massage and body work are used. This is just clarifying of terms. They're used interchangeably. So some folks call them massage therapists. Some call themselves a body worker. I call myself a body worker because I don't just do massage. There's other skill sets, right? So it's just a technicality, but in case you hear that and get confused, body work is like the umbrella term for what we do. And ultimately it's encompasses any therapeutic technique that involves working with the body to restore balance and harmony and improve systems functioning. And so under that umbrella, massage is just one of those pieces or one of those modalities, we call it. But basically you can also think anything that's available for humans exists for horses. So has anyone seen the chiropractor? Yeah, nice. Has anyone gotten acupuncture or massage, right? So any of that is basically translated from humans to horses and now dogs. Next slide. And so this is not an exhaustive list, but these are just all examples and common terms one might hear for someone who calls himself a massage practitioner or a body worker. So in Washington, all of us who are practicing we have a baseline education and massage. And so and then even massage has like nuances like Swedish massage, deep tissue, hot stone, all of that. So we have a foundation in Swedish massage. And then once we graduate and go out on our own with our business, this is just a list of some programs that we can get certification in. So the only exception is that in Washington, you have to be a vet to be a chiropractor because you're manipulating bones and that can cause issues. And then acupuncture involves needles. So that's just vets. Us lay folks can do acupressure, same as acupuncture, but with our hands. But anyway, and then the ones that have the asterisk, the structural integration, acupressure, and cranial sacral therapy are what I've pursued additional certification in. Next slide. And ultimately, my take-home point is that regardless of the modality, we're all basically working to make the animal more comfortable, increase their range of motion, do their jobs better, and just bring, and also ultimately bring peace of mind to the humans. Because when our animals aren't feeling great, a lot of us, we're not feeling great too. So, and basically each modality, it's like regardless how we get there, we're all striving for the same goal. So how did we get here? Massage and body work for humans has been around, I think, since probably people have been around in some capacity. But in the West and in the United States, we pretty much credit the it's pronounced Mar, that's in the parentheses. So he's considered the father of equine sports massage, and he was a medic in World War II, trained professionally in massage and physical therapy for people. He initially worked with humans all the way to the elite level of the NFL. And like most of this starts, you see the benefits that it has for the people, and someone with a horse goes, can you do that for my horse who is an athlete? And so that's how that transition, this is simplifying it, but that's how that shifted. And so his friends with horses found that they were having positive results. And so he basically eventually worked his way all the way up to the US Olympic team, doing this and supporting those high level athletes. And then he started teaching, he's written some books. And so it's just slowly since the 70s, it's very slow growth, but that's kind of what the impetus of where this started. And then I think I do just want to say, I think since the last 10 years, this profession has just grown exponentially, and I'll talk about that a bit more. But when I was riding horses in the 90s, we definitely didn't have the body worker, but they were around. But now it's, if you want to find someone, it's very quick, and you actually have not just your local one body worker for the community, but you actually have a choice, like you can pick among your practitioners. So that's pretty cool. So why would someone call us out to work with their horse? The biggest thing is that horses are ultimately athletes, right? So whether we're trail riding, jumping, reining, working cows, so on and so forth, horses are massive animals, right? With big muscles, and they work hard. And then the one thing that makes them unique is that they have to carry us, right? So not only do they have to work, then they have to hold the tack, and then they have to carry us, and half the time we're riding crooked anyway. So they just work really hard, right? And then folks find that the better their horses feel, the better they perform. So especially if you're in the sport horse world, it usually means you're closer to the blue ribbon, the better your horse feels. Some lesser known reasons of why we get called out, and it's just like with people. If you're around horses, you know that they get kicked, they run into fences, they cast themselves in the stall. They just, as my husband says, they're trying to kill themselves. He's like, how do these things stay alive? Anyway, they get injured, and so we can be part of the rehabilitation process. So when your body is injured, and this is the same for people, when you get injured, your body builds compensations to protect yourself and keep yourself upright. Horses are the same. Once that injury clears and moves, and we move on with our lives, that compensation in the body is still present. It doesn't go away unless you manually work it out. So we can be part of the rehabilitation process in that way. Some people have me out just because they love their horse and they just want to take care of them. So general maintenance and prevention, and then correcting imbalances. Like I mentioned, the one thing that's the biggest thing that's different with horses is that we have a lot of input, extra input from saddles, rider, etc., and that can put compensations in the body as well. And some common benefits that are probably make sense is improving range of motion and restoring balance, improving circulation in tissues, getting horses into their parasympathetic or their rest and digest. They often find it very relaxing. And a lesser known benefit is we can work on scar tissue. So this is the same for humans and horses. If we get injured and we have scar tissue wreaks havoc in the body and it can make us crooked over time. And so we have skills to support that and help the body get back to balance ultimately. And we do not work alone. They say children take a village and horses also take a village to keep them together. So a horse usually comes with a veterinarian and a farrier, right, for regular maintenance. It is very common for me as I work with someone to refer their horse or refer them to a vet as we're unwinding compensation. Sometimes undiagnosed or unknown lameness can be present, or you just start to gather more information from the owner and you're like, I think there's something else going on here. And my skill set only goes up so far. And so we need to bring the veterinarian on the team. And the same goes with farriers. It's interesting because the schools, the farrier schools don't often talk about the body, and the body schools often don't talk about the feet, but the body is all one unit, right? So it talks to each other. So we're often collaborating. Trainers often want to know what I find with their horse clients because they want to know how to better support the horse in their training program. And then some horses have multiple body workers, and because we have different skill sets, and just some of us have different niches, and so we'll collaborate together on cases as well. So we're just part of one of a greater team. And so this is a growing profession, and in that process, Washington State has the most formal professionalized program or process, I should say, to do this for both horses and dogs. So in order to legally practice in the state, we're licensed through the Washington State Department of Health, and you do that by attending an accredited program. And they're not all a year long. Some can be 6 months up to a year, but the requirement is that you at least have a minimum of 300 hours of training. And I would say most of the schools exceed that, probably about 450 hours. And then once you complete your training, that allows you to, in Washington anyway, to sit for your exam with this organization that's the National Board of Certification for Animal Acupressure and Massage. And so passing their exam is your ticket to get your license through the state and open your business and so on and so forth. Probably not a surprise, but Washington is the only state that requires this. And there are pros and cons to that, but I will say there are two things that I appreciate with this is one, and the rest of the country, you can attend an online program, like an online, 8-hour program in animal massage and create a business and call yourself a body worker professionally, or go to a 2-day program versus someone who's gone through an extensive 450-hour and put in more time. So it does delineate between that. And what I appreciate for that is with consumer education too, or just, I think you have higher qualified professionals going through that program. And so your clients are ultimately getting, I think, a better service. But that's just me. And then other states require you to, like the regulation is to work under the supervision of a veterinarian. And I don't know any of my veterinarian friends who have time to supervise me in my work plus their job. So the folks who created this, we call it NABCAM, but the folks behind NABCAM 10 plus years ago saw the writing on the wall where they might not be able to practice on their own. And so they wanted to create a formalized process in Washington for us to have the liberties to do the service without, even though we collaborate with vets, we're independent of vets. So, and then lastly, I meant to look this up. Next slide. I meant to look this up before I came here. I think there's only like 5 or 6 accredited schools with the NABCAM organization, and Washington State has 3 of those schools. So we are equine bodywork rich in Washington State. So one of the schools being the one I mentioned, Equine Natural Movement School in Battleground. There's Northwest School of Animal Massage on Vashon Island. And then in Soap Lake, Washington, there's Langley School of Equine Studies. So it's great that we have choices. I think the next school is in Colorado. There's another one in Wyoming, and then I think another one in the East Coast. So if you're in Washington or the Pacific Northwest, you don't have to travel that far. And each school covers the education on massage, but they all kind of have different nuances. So Equine Natural Movement School specializes more in structural integration, or if you've heard of Rolfing, and they're equine only. Northwest School of Animal Massage does horses and dogs, and they focus on massage and acupuncture or acupressure. And then Langley School of Equine Studies is horses only. And when you graduate from there, it's massage, but they have a whole suite of modalities that you graduate with that. So anyway, that's all I have.
Yes. Testing. The chiropractor that I've gone to over the years is Kevin Geegan in Burlington. I don't know if you have had any contact with Kevin or not, but years ago, probably 10, 15 years ago, he's talking about working with horses and dogs. And I thought, what can you do to a big horse, you know? So if there was any way that you could maybe explain to me and the rest of the membership here, what kind of tools or equipment to use. I mean, my goodness gracious, look at that horse right there. I mean, if he's got a spinal column that's out of alignment, how do you get that back into alignment? Dogs sometimes are feisty, you know, you got to sedate them. I mean, could you explain some of the things that you run into on a regular basis?
Yeah. Yeah. So believe it or not, these are my tools, or my hands. And I'm not the tallest person in the room, and the horses sometimes are massive. So I use my hands. I do have a block. It's a foam block that I bring with me for the tall guys. But really I'm working with the soft tissue of the body. So I'm not doing any adjustments. That's the chiropractor. You can have secondary adjustments where if I'm freeing up soft tissue in the body, the spinal column can sometimes naturally align itself. But my work session for me is like, I would say probably averaging 60 minutes, but can go from 45 minutes to 90 minutes. And I'm working head to tail, both sides, and spending focused. So I'll go through and I'll do an assessment, and I'll find what's tight, what feels really good, what's not good. And then I take the history of what the writer or the owners told me, what they're noticing, just some issues that they're having that they would like address. So I take that verbal information, and then I take what I feel under my hands and then my knowledge, and I put all of that together. It's like a complicated math problem, and I'm trying to find the answer being balance, but it's like, how can I serve and support that horse that I have in front of me that day? So I'll do an assessment, and then from there, I will figure out what area of the body I'm going to focus on that day that I think will have the most effect to bring the most comfort and address our goals that the owner has for that horse. So does that answer?
How many times might you repeat before a problem is taken care of? Multiple?
It's usually multiple. And so actually yesterday, a couple times last week, I had first, it was a new client to me, and you make these drastic changes. I'm not doing a lot, but it's like the horse responds really well, and their body is like changing shape, they're changing their position, and it's like those are like very rewarding sessions. And then it could be in a couple of days, depending on how long those holdings have been in the body, the horse regresses, and we're the same way, right? And it regresses. So then I might come back out a week or two later, and then I'll do that whole process again, and then they'll get better, and they'll start, but then the body starts. So what I'm helping the body do is unwind these holding patterns and reorient to better balance. And that can take, it can take several sessions. So my answer is it depends. Sometimes it's 3 sessions, sometimes it can take 5, and then I'll get them balanced. And then, but what I'm looking at is how did they change in between the sessions, and then how are they presenting, how long are they able to hold those changes? So it just depends. And I have some folks who they'll buy a package, they'll do like, we'll do a session of 5, and I'll do that over 2 months. And then we'll go to maintenance, or I have horses I see once a month because their owners don't want them to go back, and they see the benefits. So it just depends on the body, because we're all unique. So, yeah.
Okay, Cody, just an aside, when I first met you 20 years ago, when you were a reporter for the Courier Times and then worked for North Cascades Institute, I would have never guessed in a million years you would be a horse massager.
Me too.
But I do have 2 questions. Do you work with the thoroughbreds down at Emerald Downs, down in Auburn at the racetrack?
I don't know, but some folks do.
Do some folks do that? Do they have their own?
Yeah.
And the other question is, when you charge people to do these massages, do you charge the same for a Shetland as you do for a draft horse? Yeah.
You know, I was just having this conversation with a farrier the other day. I don't work on, it's not because I just don't work on many smaller, like the minis, you know.
Yeah.
I do work on some performance jumper ponies. And I do charge the same for them, because actually, even though they're smaller, I will spend the same amount of time. I don't know how that works, but like, why does a giant horse take an hour, but a smaller horse also take an hour? I don't know, but
It does.
yeah.
Well, Mike Janicki's brother has some horses you could work on probably. So.
All right. Any other quick questions? All right. Well, let's give Cody a thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
I'd like to say thank you, Cody, for being here today. And we got a equine massage gift certificate for the auction. We appreciate that. Thank you all for coming. Congratulations again, Julia, on a well-respected conclusion to a profession. So welcome back to the, are you going to start coming to the retired Tuesday morning Rusty Zipper breakfast with the rest of us? 7:30 in the morning on Tuesdays at Bonnie Joe's. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Josh, for handling lunch. And let's make sure we pick up, clean up. And with that,